Hi folks, we are back with the World Cup and today we will be recording a game between Poland and Hungary. So Poland had a draw in round 1, Hungary had a loss, so they really need to win this pairing. And I believe the situation is that only one game has been played, so Poland looks like won the first one, which means Hungary already under pressure. And we have two games running at the same time in this pairing, so if the first one finishes early, we'll, I guess, have a quick look at the other one. But how likely is that? So let's see. We have the decks here. Are they going to be fast? Well, the Polish deck, Tyrell, of Castamere, has a lot of renown, as you can see in the characters, and some big guys. I was going to say some knights, but not really that many knights. So we have Renly, we have Core Randall Tarly, which can gain some quick power. Also Core Knight of Flowers, along with some ladies. We have the events to increase strength. This one increases strength by 10. And we have one of the new cards, a Wall of Roses, which is really good in the late game because it almost guarantees a victory on defense, being able to remove 2 cards. And what do we have in terms of economy? Yeah, the big locations, Red Straits, the Arbor, High Tower also here. Not all that many of them, but still doesn't play Political Disaster, this deck, but it does play the Mad King's Command, so I guess it will be trying to take advantage of that, which, unless the game ends really early, is going to matter, I think. And just a quick look at the attachments as well. So 3 copies of Crown of Golden Roses, which increases strength, gives the king trait, but I wonder whether that makes any difference. I guess we'll see. And Scheming Septon as the restricted card. So after it was added to the list along with Old Town, I think most decks dropped it, but interesting to see it played here. So we have the strength increase plot. We have the Mad King's Command, Peace and Prosperity. A nice counter to Summer Harvest. We have some econ, we have air with lots of lords and ladies, of course. Close call. And the only real reset here, well, actually 2 resets. There is Morgulis and Mad King's Command. I almost overlooked that. Yeah, so close call with Morgulis works really nicely, and with Marjorie Tyrell, if she can survive it. There is 1 bodyguard, there is no lady in waiting, but there are 3 copies of her. And Rain's deck against Greyjoy Crossing, which is the opponent here. Game of Thrones would have been really nice, but not in this deck. Still, Pointy End will be nice to get rid of some power, probably. Wildfire Assault also. And the 2 staples, and then we have Exposed Duplicity, which unfortunately in the matchup is not that important. Now, I think the game has already started, so let's have a quick look at the Greyjoy deck. This is very typical, so any Greyjoy Crossing deck will be playing Core Balon and the little Theon, which work in the 3rd and 1st challenge respectively. And we also have 3 copies of Euron and 2 copies of Victarion here. Victarion with Renown. Euron doesn't have it, but he can grab some warships, Silence to stand himself, and also Maiden's Bane is a good one, I think. And we have a copy of Red Rain. Yeah, works real nice on Balon or Theon, if they can get it. And 13 events in the deck. The saves, of course, and then we have Superior Claim, 1 copy. We have supported the people to find the locations. Can't quite get Silence, but I guess Euron is supposed to grab that anyway. And the popular Kraken's Grasp in the Greyjoy Crossing deck. So Greyjoy goes first, which it should do with this with some initiative modifiers, and then of course the high initiative plots. This will be quite nice. Free event to take something out of the challenge. And then we have the plot deck, so Morgulis here as well, but this Rush deck I guess is not planning to play the long game. And we have the Maiden for Initiative, we have Rise of the Kraken, which is fantastic with Balon and Theon. And yeah, this for the initiative basically, and Forced March as well. And some economy, and the draw with 2 Claimer as the restricted card. So let's join the game. I rushed through that slightly because I didn't want to miss it 7 minutes in. We are only 2 minutes late, so I guess they started a bit earlier. And what is the situation? So we are in the opening round and the challengers phase has just begun. So perfect to have a look at what was set up and marshaled. So Tyrell, FABRO is the player playing Tyrell for the Polish team. We have the Knight of Flowers with the Crown of Golden Roses to increase his strength by 2 potentially, which will make it very difficult for anyone to defend him. We have the Courtier to stand him, and we have Sir Garland. You can also manipulate strength of characters, has 1 gold on him, and already a Scheming Septon, who can gain some challenges phase gold for some tricks potentially. And on the other side, we've started with Euron, who has grabbed Silence. We have the Chad, a couple of Chads in fact, and the Vex Spike. He has no gold, so does nothing at the moment. And the locations are more critical here. So we have the threat of the System Chair, which means if the military challenge is unopposed, which it could be at some point if we see Theon or Euron in play, then yeah, targeted kill could be dangerous. So Knight of Flowers is duped. That's the main one at the moment, but I'm sure it would try to get Garland if it could. And Greyjoy goes first, so starts with the Intrigue challenge. The plan is to do 3. And we have to assume that there is a stand for Euron, who also has Intimidate, because there are a couple of raiders in play at the moment. So I guess, now does this work as an action? So even if he is intimidated, I guess that the challenge where you would have the best chance would be Intrigue, right? But that's the challenge that Elendil27, who is playing for Hungary here, is doing first. So even if he is intimidated, you can still discard a card to increase his strength, and then the Courtier could stand him. So lots of work with that Intimidate if the Greyjoy deck will prevent Tyrell from striking back here. Greyjoy can go fast, but if you leave a few unopposed with some renown back, then it could be dangerous. And the Scheming Septon defense. Now will we see the Iron Fleet Scout? We won't, so card given away. And now what? Military still not with Euron. Now this can also be defended, but the question is there a chance to stop crossing here? It's at the moment it's just 1 power, which you can potentially steal back, so yeah, spending the Knight of Flowers, that will give another card away. And will he stand here? So can you stop the crossing challenge is the question. These two can attack for 9 between them, and then you have 2 more here, so that would be 11. So if everyone defended, including the Knight of Flowers, that would be enough. But at the moment, still kneeling. And there's 2 gold, of course, in Greyjoy player has to go left, so always the threat of we do not so. Which you definitely don't want on the red white straights. Interesting, so there was a dupe in hand, wasn't played. And the Kraken's Grasp won't work on him, so he's up to strength 7 now. So fully defended, and after all of that, Greyjoy will end this round on just the 1 power from dominance potentially if they can get it, but maybe not even that. Huge hand advantage though, 9 cards in hand. So I guess the thing to do now would be to attack. No? I was going to say attack on the power challenge, force him to nil. I guess it's the same thing. Dominance would be tied either way. And now what's the plan? So we have 4 characters with a military icon for Greyjoy here. Just looking at that forced march, which looks pretty nice. You can kneel the 2 weaker ones. Choice between all 3, I guess, apart from Euron. 2 Neil Garland and the Knight of Flowers. Now he has that courtier, which can potentially make him stand. Doesn't work with the marketplace if he is already kneeling. So that would be one thing Greyjoy could do here. Morghulis seems unlikely, but if Westeros is in the deck, could grab economy or the Iron Gate back. And that's what's played against the Mad King's command. So immediately when the Greyjoy player gained huge card advantage here, that Mad King's command doing some good work now. Interesting that Tyrell is chosen to go first here. Still no power to steal from the faction card, but now with only 3 characters staying in play, seems like Euron could have tried to intimidate a little bit more aggressively. Forced March also would have been really nice here against Mad King's command. So let's see, do we keep the courtier or will we see another big body come into play? We have, this is presumably that Skimming Septon, so at least it will increase the number of characters in the challenges phase to 4 when it enters play. Sweet Sleep on Knight of Flowers, blanking the crown. I guess that will go away for Mad King's command, just marshalling it so that actually I don't quite see the logic. Even if it was in hand, you could not choose it and it would be it would go to the bottom. So I guess if Milk got attached, then Sweet Sleep would stay, but now I'm guessing it's going. And on the other side, we are losing some locations, but now the characters look more formidable. We have Euron and Balon, and I'm guessing one of the raiders has to stay, right? So now Vex Spike. And it's a really strong board for the Intimidate if Greyjoy went first. Yeah, sweet sleep going away as we expected. You have to choose the cards that will stay in play and in hand and shadows, not the cards that you intend to put to the bottom. I assume that's the confusion. And now what will Elendil do here? Yeah, definitely don't choose Sweet Sleep. Oh, actually, so Elendil can choose Sweet Sleep, yeah, can choose the opponent's Sweet Sleep to stop the Crown of Golden Roses, yeah. So that is a thing that the opponent can do against you. You are allowed to choose cards in play that the opponent controls, but not cards in hand and in shadows, obviously. Now, I was going to speculate, so what will be kept here? Balon, Euron, and I guess the river. And what about the locations? So you have to keep silence, and we have 2 economy locations basically. This serves as economy. So do you choose them to give yourself a better chance for the rest of the game, or do you try to keep the threat of the system chair? System chair and the solar kept. And we have sweet sleep kept. Yeah, so it was slightly dangerous to marshal it like that. It would have stopped milk of the poppy. Now, is there milk in the deck? There isn't. Yeah, 2 copies, okay. So basically it protects him from that, but also blanks the crown now. But I guess with 2 cards in hand you're not going to be discarding them for the strength increase, right? Because then Greyjoy survives this round much better, I think. Let's see the draw options. So nothing in the Reigns deck with the skin plots, I mean. And close call, could grab a card. That's about it for that deck, and the other one has you win or you die, so can always recover pretty nicely. Now we might see, it's already, well, 3, not really dangerous. We might see some challenges considered here to make sure the crossing goes through. Problem is if you are struggling with the number of warships. I mean struggling, there's 3 cards in hand, so if there is 1 warship among them, if you let this one go, it messes up the silence play for your run later. So you could defend intrigue and then stand him later, do 3 challenges back. But then what are you doing for military? Dangerous to take the dupe. Okay, up to 4. 1 more available. Is there a win by 5 trigger? A relentless assault, not in the deck. No pinch. So just going for the reins, and What is the plan here? Can go for the stand, can go for the kneel. And does not hit the warship. But yeah, worth it I think to kneel Balon. This one can't really be defended. Defense with the river. So I was thinking maybe if the river is going to be chosen for claim, he could have grabbed the Iron Gate with the plot first and just died that way, conceding another unopposed. And is there an Olena's informant? There is. And now double military will make a huge difference. Now Euron against Garland could defend himself, but not against the Knight of Flowers. So FABRO could discard the card here, stand him with the courtier, do another challenge that takes the dupe away. That's the plan, I think. Or not. Okay. Problem here is that if Euron successfully defends, then he can stand. And if the location is Maiden's Bane, might be able to do 2 challenges now. How much does Lord Renly's right cost? 1. Yeah, but doesn't bother. Doesn't bother defending. Happy to take the dupe and strike back. Up to 8 power. But I think we might see some counterplay here. Let's see. So if you have Maiden's Bane, it doesn't really work out. You can do this unopposed challenge. And then intimidate Olena's informant. Yeah, so maybe not so bad. If there's another warship, which seems more likely, then he will just stand once and do another challenge. And what's the deal with the system chair here? Seems like you can trigger it here. Short-term benefit would be to kill Garland, but of course taking the dupe from the Knight of Flowers also an option. Yeah, you can do that on the Iron Throne. Just have to apply claim. Alright, goes for Garland, which is a legitimate option here, I think, but now it's very possible that Tyrell pulls the trigger on Morghulis because the Knight of Flowers survives, and if there's no saves, these two are in trouble. And no warship, interesting. No silence trigger, so no huge comeback that I was expecting. Good play. Keep missing with my predictions. I was going to say Greyjoy could play you win or you die. Go first. But, some extra cards, maybe a better chance to find the reason. But okay, Greyjoy pulls the trigger, so there must be already a reason in hand. And maybe the plan was to play Morghulis against the other Morghulis, and then everything would die, but didn't predict that correctly, and now only Euron and Balon will die, right? And the Knight of Flowers will survive, and then close call. Resurrect something. So that's a genuine concession, not just banter. Yeah, didn't really get much done in this game, the Greyjoy crossing deck. It looked like it has had some chances, but in the end wasn't to be. So I guess we can have a look if the other game is still going on. So it's mid-game, can't look at the deck lists, but I can give you, I can post them in the description of this video, of course. So I have not looked at the decks, but let's see. So we have Michalku playing Targaryen Valyrian Steel for Poland, and we have Márton at the top of your screen playing Lannister Prince for Hungary, and the Prince is, I'm guessing, the Halfman's Horde, right? And how is the game going? With Blood of the Dragon revealed, nothing significant in the dead pile, and the dead Daenerys on the other side. So I'm guessing the game not going all that well here for the Targaryen deck. I guess Morghulis is the thing that killed her. But no claim here for Márton. And lots of time still for the other rounds. We have 5 cards in hand, we have 7 here with 5 reserve. So lots could still happen. Let's have a look. So, okay, first snow gone. The maiden Morgulis, so I'm guessing no other resets on this side. And here we've had Time of Plenty and the Smith and Blood of the Dragon, so that seems like a deck that would be playing March to the Wall and maybe Morgulis itself. And a double close call. We'll bring back Daenerys on this side and probably Gunther. Let's see if I can find the two decks. The Harris and Political Disaster still in the Targaryen deck. No Marched, but there is Marched on the other side. Yeah, that Viserion looking pretty lonely there. So with this agenda, obviously the focus is on the attachments, so there isn't that much burn. Kind of surprising to be playing Blood of the Dragon in such a deck without the 5 cost Daenerys and without the burn events. There is only Dracarys really in the deck. So still on the back foot here. Now, is there enough to just burn it? Up. Won't work. Can bring its strength down to 1, but treachery on Stormcrows. And now it's not worth it, so you can Dracarys it with Viserion and then defend the power to stop the, or just leave it, I guess, to stop the win by 5, but and then concede the other 2 challenges. Now Toker gives him a chance to defend it. Stop the Intimidate, at least. And the ability you rarely see used, but there is one other unique Clansman here, so a card can be discarded, and if that's Dracarys, or am I being stupid? So, unique attacking Clansman, okay. So it's even more rare than I imagined. Actually, I don't think I've ever seen it trigger yet, even though the card is quite good Yeah, the reaction is unlikely to do much. And it was going to stand anyway, even without the agenda. With painted dogs. To get the intimidate on the military challenge, or force Viserion to defend. And there is a unique attacking clansman in the challenge, so this time surely. Unless Viserion burns her. And Viserion goes. 2 dragons in the dead pile. And no fire and blood in the deck. And now the march to the wall is coming. 1 card in hand will turn into 3 with the non-terminal attachments, but if no character is drawn, I don't think there is a way back. Three plots left. The Harris is the reset. There is political disaster. Counting coppers. There is some economy. So I guess that's... it's the Harris. It's the Harris against confiscation. So not bothering to march the Stormcrows. I guess the plan is just to kill it. Confiscation in the deck. One from the older times, and yeah, against Valyrian still. Not a bad one. More jumping locations with the dupe as well, so now even that political disaster that is still to come will not hit very hard. Alright, so dupe will be the claim soak, I guess, here. Stop Barristan being marched. Problem is, he can't really strike back with his ability. There's no cards in hand, and the Intimidate army withstand. It's just going to be very aggressive here. And that could have been put into play, I guess, earlier. And then trigger the agenda to gain gold. Yeah, so Lannister used on Painted Dogs. That's one stand. There is another with the agenda. And this is just straight ambushed with gold. So I guess the one thing now is how to get at least one unopposed here to maximize the power gain. Doesn't seem like Márton can do it on both challenges. Just has the one stealth character, so he will win this one by 5. Stand the army. And then Painted Dogs can stand milk snakes, right? And that's 2 unopposed now, because the first one wasn't defended. So it will be up to 13 with dominance. And what's this now? Number of clansmen, that would be 4. Just enough to kill him. And that means Barristan will remain alone to be marched next round. Yeah, I was going to say, last night I called it way too early, and then there was a comeback, but no chance here. So, yeah. Just you can just prolong it into another round, but there's no hope of any recovery. So that's 1 for each team from these 2 games, and let's just remind ourselves. So Poland won the first one, which means they now lead 2-1, and both teams really could do with a win here, because Poland has a draw from round 1 against Germany, and Hungary has a loss against the USA. So quite important how the rest of this matchup goes, and I think they're playing 3 more games tonight, so unfortunately can't record those because I have my own game to be played now, but maybe you can catch them somewhere else. So thanks for joining me tonight, and we'll see you next time.